technicians are only as good as their training. You can have smart people, but they're busy fixing things. They don't always have time to research what they don't know or even know what they don't know. As someone who tries to organize training, one of the things that we've found is critical is the instructor themselves. You can have anyone deliver information, but the difference between good and bad training can be that instructor. My name is Faustin. I am the fleet manager for Mapleton Public Schools, and I also work with the Colorado State Pupil Transportation Association. And we are here at our 2024 annual training summit in Colorado. And this is an event that we have put on since the 80s. That's how long this organization has been around. It originally started as transportation directors in the state of Colorado who were looking to work hand in hand with the Colorado Department of Education. It was mainly networking, helping each other do their jobs better. Who's figured out how to do this, who's figured out how to do that. Over the years, it has grown exponentially. Committees have been formed. There's a legislative committee, there's a training committee, and there's a technicians committee. And that's the committee that I am a part of as a training coordinator. Primarily what we do is we work year-round to provide training of all types to our school bus technicians, regular vehicle technicians. Our main emphasis is our summer workshop here. We will have several hundred mechanics from the state come in. For many of them, this is the only training they may get all year because they may be in an extremely rural district. It's very challenging to get them to classes if they are in the metro area. We also will do more extensive classes throughout the year that are more intensive. Maybe they're multi-day classes that get into very specific things, transmission rebuilds, all kinds of things like that. As a technicians committee, we will talk about what are we hearing, what areas are fleet managers feeling their technicians may be weak in. We've done everything from welding classes to air brake classes to transmission classes. So we try to kind of keep our ear to the street and see what people need. And then we will tailor our training around that for our year-round training. Our goal with the summit is to cast as wide of a net as we can. Give our mechanics a lot of choices so they can decide, do I want to go to a Cummins after treatment class, or do I want to go to an air brake class, or do I want to go to an electric diagnostic class? And it gives them options wherever they may feel weak in what they do to find training in those areas. Everyone's been in a class where you're struggling to stay awake. Finding the right instructor is a critical component of finding great training. And often you have to bring people in from outside. You may not have those subject matter experts right there in your state. For our summit here, we have people coming from all over the country. We get feedback from our technicians after every class. They turn in a form. So that feedback helps us know who do we keep bringing back and who is it okay to let go. The content that we try to cover in our classes is kind of what is the cutting edge, because as a fleet manager, what I need is for my guys to be able to fix whatever's broken. In our industry, safety is the number one thing, and you need to have technicians that understand what they are working on so they can fix it quickly, they can fix it properly. Finding classes for technicians that are what is new, what is coming in to the industry is important. You have to balance that at times too, because we have a lot of mechanics retiring out of the industry. That's a huge knowledge gap that is leaving. And so what we've found in the last few years is we have to go back to some of those basic classes for the new people coming in to cover some of the more basic stuff because they're brand new to this. They don't know those things. It's a balance when working out these classes to bridge that gap and figure out who your mechanics are, because I don't often know who's coming from a rural district and what they may specifically need. As the electric bus world has been accelerating over the last few years and significant grant money has made these buses attainable for the average school district, from the technician's perspective, there has been a lot of resistance initially. And that resistance, as we have dug into it, is all fear-based. It's not just a fear of a new technology, it's fear of a new technology that can be incredibly dangerous. That lack of knowledge that most of the technicians have had has made them overly afraid of this technology and very resistant to it. The key that we have found in advancing that is knowledge. If you get a mechanic a good significant class on high voltage safety, every single time they walk out and go, oh, that's not so bad. It's important for the continued adoption and buy-in of people to find this training. Here in Colorado, there's quite a few districts that have already received electric buses or have a significant number on the way. The Colorado Department of Education has mandated that if a school district owns an electric bus, they must provide safety training to their mechanics. So we've identified that as a massive need here in Colorado, and we're just starting to ramp up and offer these kinds of classes. When we were putting on this conference last year, we had an instructor lined out and he backed out 3 weeks before the conference. And so we were scrambling. This is probably one of the hardest classes there is to cover. It's very specialized. You need a very special instructor who understands this stuff. And to find that in 3 weeks, it didn't seem like it was going to happen. We had a contact that knew of Workforce Training Associates. He reached out and they were there. They sent someone out. I was blown away at the quality of the class because of the lack of time they had to even prepare for it. We had rave reviews from every mechanic that attended that class. As a tech committee and training, we have committed to try to offer more intensive classes. That's one thing we're working on for this fall, is to offer a multi-day in-depth class with Workforce Training Associates. The class that we're doing at this conference, it's just an intro class. It's an intro to remove the fear, to get them to have a basic understanding. Yes, there is a way you need to work on these vehicles, but if you work on them how you're supposed to, you'll be as safe as working on anything. We've been blown away by the level of training that Workforce has offered for us. They have some of the greatest instructors I've dealt with, and I deal with a lot of instructors. Excited to continue working with them. I had the opportunity a few months ago to attend one of their training classes myself, and I would have put myself in that category of someone didn't understand enough of it to not be afraid of it. After a 3-day class, it's like, okay, let me get in here. Let me do some of this stuff myself. So it removes that fear. That comes back to the instructor, the quality of the instructor that Workforce has.